All right, what's going on, guys? Trev back again, here to bring you another video. This one's going to be doing another Walking Dead video after that huge ending for the Walking Dead comic book series this week. In this one, we're going to give our thoughts on whether or not we think we will see a Negan spin-off series. Alright, and spoiler warning if you guys are not caught up to the end of the Walking Dead comic book series. So continuing on, another day, another video about the Walking Dead being over. Really crazy stuff. Still feeling it. It's probably going to be a while and months to come and maybe years to come when it'll be a odd Wednesday and we'll probably be like, just thinking about like, oh man, it was cool to go and buy an issue of the Walking Dead comic on a Wednesday or when they release it, that kind of thing. So there's a major void to be filled, right? Because a lot of us are used to doing that every month. Like we're used to seeing, okay, new issue of the Walking Dead this month times 193 or however many, whenever we started kind of reading the series. Getting to read that, finding out what happens next for Rick and our gang of survivors. And it's over now, and it's really sad, man. Really, really sad stuff. I've done lots of videos this week, if you guys missed any of them, about the ending, Robert Kirkman's comments about why he decided to end the series at 193, and basically that's it. Like, he's pretty much said, I did another video on this one too, that if you want to go through that, you can listen to it. It's in the channel right now, that basically it's over. The Walking Dead is finished. The Walking Dead is done. And that's for the comic series version. Of course, that has basically no relation to the Walking Dead TV series. AMC has said that they're going to continue to do Walking Dead for many years to come, so we're still going to do lots of videos for that and that regular thing. But man, it sucks because every month, it was fun to kind of get the new issue and, always read it, collect it if you're somebody who collects it, and then for me personally, discuss it with you guys online, review it, and give our thoughts on it and hear what you guys have to say about it, which parts you liked, which parts you didn't, maybe if there was character deaths, how you felt about them, whether it would have been Dwight or whoever before that, Andrea or some of the big prior ones, just where we were feeling as a result. And it's just sad to see it that it's finally come to such an unexpected early end compared to what we were expecting. But we did get to find out, as Toxik Blackrain here says, P.S. Negan lives, right? What Kirkman said at the end. It's unfortunate, man, because honestly, the Commonwealth I thought was something that could have been used really good, and Carl could have been kind of cool to follow along through in his journey. And he just kind of went the easy route with Carl and kind of made it like, okay, he loses Rick, and then he just becomes kind of a more peaceful type of person. I thought it could have been really interesting to see Carl go the other way and become like maybe more like Negan or something like that, and that could have been some really good stuff there, which is unfortunate. Also, because I felt like he had to have had more ideas for some other awesome villains. I mean, he created the Governor, he created Negan, he created Alpha and Beta, and Shane and some of the other awesome villains we've had throughout the Walking Dead series. I just sit here thinking, I'm like, he couldn't come up with any other really good villains that could have been kind of like, maybe not as good as Negan or something like that, but, pretty good villains. But it sounds like, no, that's just not the case. But anyway, Negan is definitely one of his best characters he ever made. I'd say he's probably top couple characters, and it's also awesome that he didn't originally end the series at Alexandria, because if he had, there would have been no Negan at all. I'm really glad that that he didn't kill Negan off in the end. P.S. Negan lives. We see a grave for Lucille and Carl knocking on the door, but we don't get to see Negan really in the final issue, I don't think. Probably go through it again afterwards, because it's just so emotional. It's hard to kind of focus, when you're going through all the feels and everything coming up. But so the possibility of a Negan spinoff series, this is what a lot of people are kind of saying. He says he's done with The Walking Dead. Some people have said, well, yeah, maybe that's true. Maybe he'll rebrand it as like a different image title, like Negan or something like that, which could be really cool to see. There was Here's Negan, which was kind of a spinoff already. But it could be cool to see, Negan's kind of adventures if he goes out there in the world. If he just gets bored and goes out there and travels around or something and gets into some shit or starts a new group or something, that could be kind of cool. But yeah, I mean, for right now, we're pretty much sitting here saying like, okay, Walking Dead's basically done. It's kind of crazy to think about it that he's really doing this, like he's really going to end this license, because if you look at the TV series, they've done the original series, now they've added on Fear for 5 years, now they're adding on another series, and they're doing the movies. So as Robert Kirkman says, like four Walking Dead properties, if you count the movie like series, he called it. The movie, I guess, is a series of movies too, I guess. But man, it's just crazy to think that he's just going to stop the Walking Dead comic. Like, he's just going to end it. It's not like, he's going to have some other kind of spinoff for it or any, like, what he's saying is he's just going to end it. So a lot of people are pretty suspicious about this, and they're thinking, he'll do something with it in the future. He'll get some kind of idea for something, and he'll do some kind of Walking Dead offshoot, or he'll do Negan, or maybe the future with Carl, and something else happens later or something. I don't know. It's a happy ending for The Walking Dead, but as such, it's such an awesome property that it's unbelievable to see it just be dropped out of comics 100% like that. Like, to think that there will be no Image Skybound releases for Walking Dead in the future, like none, like it's over, it's finished. Man, that's really crazy, because it's such a popular property that to have none of it. It's kind of like if you ended, like if you ended Batman or you ended one of these X-Men or something. It's like there's going to be some kind of offshoot, but then again, that's owned by like a major corporation like Marvel and DC and thus Disney and Warner Brothers, right? So it's like corporate is going to keep pumping Batman forever. Like, when we're gone, there will still be Batman comics coming out on a monthly basis. There will still be Superman, X-Men, Avengers comics coming out when we're all gone and over and done with, probably. But it's sad to hear that he's basically going to close it all out, and we won't see any kind of Walking Dead series. You got to think that eventually he'll get the itch to do something related to Walking Dead again. The trouble is that the way he did the finale issue, the final issue of the series, 193, it kind of closes it off to where it's pretty hard for him to come back and do anything with that. It's sort of like a finite ending, to where it's like, for Rick and the survivors, for them, it's basically over. And unless he wants to do something with Negan, maybe, or if he wants to do a totally new, different country or something like that, and a totally new set of survivors, if he gets the gumption to want to do that, I guess he could. But I'm just sitting here thinking, like, really, that's it? Like, there's not going to be anything Walking Dead? It was a great ending and everything, but it's over the months and over the years, it's going to be pretty sad for a lot of us that we're not getting those releases. And I guess we can go back, and if we missed any of the prior ones, get the full series. I'm looking forward to completing the full series, because there's a few volumes at the end there that I still gotta, eventually here in the future when they release and everything, get to finish up the collection. But maybe when the collection is totally finished, we'll go through the whole thing, and we'll go through all the volumes and do like a full thing, like a full series look back type of thing, for the collection, because that's going to be pretty cool to have. If you can, that's one positive thing about it, is you can have a complete Walking Dead collection where you have all the comics that were ever released in either the compendiums and an easy way to buy it, or trades, or issues. Maybe if you were really smart and you bought all the issues from issue 1 all the way through to the end, like the full run, and you kept them in good shape, those would be worth a lot of money at this point, I would think. Maybe, I don't know how many thousands, but in the tens of thousands, I would think, or at least 5 or 10,000 for the whole run or something. It'd be worth for sure. So yeah, he said he was greedy. He said, I ended up liking the ending more than I thought I would, but damn, I admit I'm greedy. I want more. I want more. P.S. Negan Lives. So that's from Toxik Blackrain. Yeah, I want more too. I'm greedy as well, and I guess we just have to kind of be appreciative that the biggest thing is that AMC is continuing the Walking Dead property in video form, in episode form. So I'm really happy for that. I mean, that's the one that even he, in his thank you, he thanked a lot of the people that were involved, like Greg Nicotero and Angela and Scott, everybody, like a lot of the people who were involved with the TV series. Because really, the comics would have always been popular, but they would not have been as popular as they got without the TV series. The TV series brought in a lot of casual viewers, and some of them got converted into comic readers. So the TV series, in my opinion, really helped boost the comics even more. And it's great to see what AMC is doing with it, and it's a little bit unfortunate to see what Robert Kirkman is doing with The Walking Dead by kind of finishing it and sort of squashing it and then moving on to other stuff afterwards. So you got to think maybe there'll be something Walking Dead in the future that he'll want to do something with it. But I don't think he's done anything with Invincible since it ended. Has he? I'm not sure. I don't follow too closely. Maybe I'm wrong in that. Maybe I shouldn't say that. So we'll go through some of your guys' questions for today, and also leave a comment below. What would you think? Would you be interested in seeing a Negan series, or do you think that the way it ended off The Walking Dead, it ended off in such a way where you can't really do anything with it now, right? Like, leave a comment below. Let me know. What do you think? Do you think that he'll do like anything with it ever, or do you think that he's done with it forever and we'll never see anything more releases for Walking Dead? I kind of find that hard to believe, that in the rest of his life and in the rest of our lives going forward, we'll never see another comic, Walking Dead something. I mean, man, that is a crazy thought, right? But maybe that's the case. Maybe that's the way it will go. I hope not. But damn, dude, I mean, that would be kind of sad. I hope we see something for Negan or new characters or something like that. Because, damn, it was so good for so many years, man. It could be cool if you would relaunch it or do something else with The Walking Dead, like a different country or a different group or something like that. Wow, yeah, let me know, leave comments. The Shapelys says, been a fun few years. Bye, Trev. So, yeah, for sure, man, for the comics anyway. I know that there's a good number of viewers to the channel who mainly follow the channel for the Walking Dead comic book series, and that's cool, and maybe they don't like the TV series as much, or they don't like, Fear, or they don't like other stuff. Totally cool. Basically, in the future, going to continue right on doing what we're doing. A lot of things are ending. The Walking Dead comic series has ended. Game of Thrones has ended. Luckily, the TV series of Walking Dead is still going. Z Nation ended. Gotham ended. What else, man? Breaking Bad ended years ago. Better Call Saul has kind of been, it should be coming back soon, but it's sort of in hiatus. So a lot of the stuff Under the Dome, for example, I covered for every season it was on, and actually a lot of people were interested in that show. It did really good, actually, surprisingly. But yeah, just a lot of the things that we've been focused on over the years, we're just in a time right now of flux where a lot of them are kind of wrapping up. Netflix has kind of taken over with Stranger Things and stuff, and that format of release, which is a bit different, so it's a bit hard to kind of keep up with and do videos with because everybody is at different points. So we'll see about the future, and we'll see about how things go. I appreciate you guys sticking with me all these years. I appreciate it if you continue to, and what I can promise is at least we'll do some videos. I don't know how many, but we'll at least do some looking back on the Walking Dead comic book series. We'll go over the collection, that kind of stuff when it's completed, like I said. And, I'm not finished just because the Walking Dead comics is finished. It is one of the things I started with when I started this channel, and my first channel before this. I started reviewing the comic series before the TV series aired, about over a decade ago now. So it's really sad, and I totally get that. But there will be stuff in the future, and it doesn't mean that if we don't have topics, we can't look back on it and talk about stuff. I remember Dragon Ball. For example, Dragon Ball is another thing I used to do videos for. I don't do too much nowadays. But Dragon Ball Z or Dragon Ball Super, I used to do videos. There was a lot of interest for Dragon Ball Z, for example, even years after it ended. So before Super started, people would still talk about Dragon Ball Z sometimes. One of my friends online here, Kwame, for example, he has a channel for Dragon Ball Z, and he was making videos for Dragon Ball Z when it wasn't even on. So, yeah, I mean, even if the Walking Dead comic series is over, it doesn't mean we have to stop talking about it permanently, like it's just done, we're not going to do anything about it. We will still do some stuff for it. I don't know how much, but I think that we could at least do some, and it is a great story when you look at the complete story all the way up to the end, and it is unfortunate to see it go in this way, so I hope he has something else he wants to do, or if he doesn't have any good ideas, maybe he gives someone else a license or whatever, or hires an author and artist type team, and they do some other kind of Walking Dead property on a new group, and they write it, and he just kind of produces it or oversees it type of thing, and make sure that it's kind of faithful to the name and that kind of stuff, and we see something like that. Again, like, not the same author is not writing Batman that created Batman, right? So it's the same kind of thing with Walking Dead. He doesn't have to necessarily always write every single issue like the TV series. He doesn't direct or do everything himself, right? The comics don't have to be that way either. Maybe he could hire somebody else to do a Walking Dead property, and if it's not Rick and it's not the group and it's in a different country or wherever, even still, he could be loosely involved, and he wouldn't have to do all the work, and the fans would enjoy it, and it could be something cool if he finds people that are talented enough to want to do it, right? Pariah Sojourner says, lack of ideas, WTF, here's a great idea. So he actually got a good idea, which is why I put this in here. He said, a new highly organized threat comprised of at least several 100,000 people who are very military equipped, even in possession of maybe nukes, biological and chemical weapons show up. There are Christian extremists, so he's got some ideas here for some different ideas. So who see the zombie apocalypse as a prophesied biblical apocalypse, and they now run Western America with an iron front. So, I won't go through the rest of what he's saying here, but the point that he's making is absolutely true, which is that basically, there is other stuff he could have done. He just made the decision basically not to continue doing it. But I really don't buy or don't believe the explanation that he totally ran out of ideas and he just decided to go from here to here and just end it. Pariah is absolutely right. He could have done some kind of world war or something like this, right? He could have built to the Commonwealth being a huge group, and then we find out that they're not the only one, up in Canada or something. There's like another huge group, and then something happens, and maybe the Commonwealth are a group of good guys, but then maybe there's some kind of, other militant group that becomes big, and they do it the opposite way, like the inversion of that, where they're just totally evil and they just go around and force people to join, and like the Commonwealth in the TV series we might be seeing. So there's definitely some ideas he could have done. It doesn't always have to be war. He could have just continued on going further with the Commonwealth stuff and had more things happen, and instead of Rick being killed in that way, just done some different stuff with it. My opinion, as I said in the Why video, is basically that this was a story he wanted to do. He'd basically run the gamut of how far he wanted it to go, and he was happy with the runtime length of it to decide, well, it basically is a zombie apocalypse story that doesn't end. And that's true. It basically is, because it's so much longer than anything else we've seen, that it's true to its name, that's basically, or its description, that's what it really is. But it ended for these characters. So we'll see maybe some others. It's still the best zombie apocalypse story ever written, for sure. I mean, I can't think of anything that would even compare to it at all for zombie apocalypse stuff. But you're absolutely right, Pariah. If he really wanted to do some kind of world war that he could have built towards, or Carl and the drama angle where you maybe you do a heel turn for Carl, and then eventually you have him redeem himself, so he maybe follows in Negan's footsteps or something like that. And he definitely. Let's put it this way: if he wanted to continue on another 40 or 50 issues to 250 or something, or a fifth compendium or whatever, he definitely could have. The reality is, he made a decision that he wasn't going to do it, whether it was because he thought it wasn't up to hype or wasn't up to standards of what he'd been doing prior, or he just all around is too overwhelmed with everything he has doing. He just basically decided at a point that this would be a happy end. He's building towards it, and instead of pushing it further back, he decided to just bring it in at this point. That's basically what happened, isn't it? Isn't that a good description of what happened? Leave a comment below. Let me know what you guys think about that. That's what I see, in my mind. It's like, okay, he could have done more. This was a story he wanted to tell. This was the idea he had up to here. Anything else, another war or another big thing he didn't really want to do. And he didn't want Carl to kind of become a bad guy or do that stuff, it sounds like, either. So this is the decision that he went with. Roscoe said he did the same thing with Invincible. And then Samsquamsh said, ended it abruptly? A little bit, yeah, kind of. That's kind of true that he sort of did that with Invincible. And it was kind of the same deal that he wanted Invincible to just keep going and going and going. What happens is Father Time kills everything, right? Father Time always wins. Father Time is undefeated. As the clock keeps ticking, you can say, well, I'm going to do this forever. But how long is forever? Forever is probably 10 to 20 years, right? Like that's what forever. When you say, I'm going to do this forever, 10 years later, 20 years later, you're not you anymore. It's not the same thing. He's not the same guy when he started out creating Invincible and creating, Walking Dead. He's not the same guy now that he was then. We're not the same. All of us who, if we started reading Walking Dead 15 years ago, or 10 or 12, we started watching the TV series when it aired, or 5 years ago, we're not the same as we were 5 years ago or 10 years ago. Maybe some of us are somewhat, but a lot of people in that time, they've probably had 2 or 3 different jobs or more. They maybe finished high school, maybe finished college, maybe graduated, maybe they got a trade, maybe they had a family, maybe they moved out of their parents' house, maybe they retired. I don't know, there's some older viewers here, right? Maybe they, who knows, right? Maybe they had another kid, I don't know, or a couple. It's like life changes, man. You're not the same as you were. And I'm not, you guys aren't, none of us are. So when you say you're going to basically do something forever, it's like, yeah, you get that. But, sometimes life, you're in control, you're in the driver's seat. And then sometimes you get a swerve and you got to go this way. You got to go that way. And then this happens and maybe there's a lawsuit. You got to go that way. And it's like, do I have time to keep driving this thing, or I'm just going to put the brakes on here and then, get out of the car and go and hop in a shiny new car and drive that instead, right? I don't know. So anyway, let me know what you guys think. Leave your comments below. All in all, do you think we will see a Walking Dead spinoff series? Do you think it will be focused on Negan? Or do you think that, no, he's such a contrarian, he's not going to do the Batman, Superman, X-Men, Marvel, DC type route? Maybe even Spawn. I think Spawn is, issue 300, right? Todd McFarlane's Spawn, that's an Image title, and it's still going, and it's had different, lots of different people working on it over the time. Do you think he's such a contrarian that he's not going to go that route and that he's really done with Walking Dead and it really is over for good and we won't see anything else with the Walking Dead name on it ever? I find that hard to believe, but who knows? He's an interesting character, right? Maybe that is true. Maybe we will never see anything from Walking Dead again. Let me know what you guys think. Leave your comments below. Want to hear your opinions on this, and I'll see you guys again soon for another video. As always, this is Trev, and I'm saying peace. Later, guys. See you soon.